Howdy, y'all. It's Curious Raven. I am here on this Saturday with a true ghost story. It says Ghost in a Gas Station. I spent my early 20s traveling a ton. I worked part-time with an imported car company that did shows all over the South. Several times a year, I would drive from Florida to Kentucky, Tennessee to Georgia, all over the place. Often these trips, I would end up taking some strange country or county roads to avoid highways early in the morning. The worst drive of my life. 3 things happened that I can't explain. The first happened around 1 a.m. My GPS tells me to take the most sudden exit onto a side road off the interstate. It's nothing but farmland and trees, but my GPS swears it's a shortcut. I'm cruising for about 5 minutes or so when an old Mustang pulled up behind me, flashing their lights. They rode my bumper for about 15 minutes, but there was nowhere to pull off in the middle of all the countryside. They revved up, and I thought they were finally going to pass me, being as there was no oncoming traffic. We were the only ones on the road for miles, but the car never passed me. I physically turned my head to check my blind spot, and the car was gone. There was no turnoff or area for them to have pulled over. The car just straight up disappeared. When I got back on the interstate, 30 minutes had passed. But I was right back at the same exit I had taken to get off. I had been on a long straight road for about 30 minutes and ended up exactly where I started. A couple hours pass, and I'm now 10 hours into my drive. I'm only 2 hours from my home. I turn off the interstate onto a county road that leads to the highway my house was on. It was a local shortcut I had taken many, many times, only about 2 cities over from my own. It was a little after 3 a.m. I go for a cigarette to keep me awake, the last leg of the ride, and my lighter runs out. As I'm fixing to put the cigarette back in the pack, I pass a poorly lit gas station. Perfect. Pulled into the parking lot and decided to fill up. While I'm at the pump, I noticed inside there are 2 people. An old Meemaw looking woman in a muumuu at a register. An old redneck fella in overalls in the aisle. They're facing each other like they're in a conversation, but neither of them are moving. I make my way cautiously inside and approach the register looking for a big lighter. I didn't see any, so I asked the woman at the front if she had any. He looked at me like I was from Mars. I tried to explain I just wanted a lighter for my cigarettes, and she goes, "Oh, I have matches if that's what you're looking for." She hands me a box of matches and doesn't charge me for them. I thank her and turn to leave when I realize the man in overalls still hasn't moved, but I can feel him watching me. I'm 19 to 20 years old and 125 pounds soaking wet at this point in my life. The hair on the back of my neck is standing straight up and my brain is yelling at me to get the hell out of here. Quickly make it to my car. In the exact moment I turn on my engine, every light in that gas station turns off. Inside, outside, in the pumps, and even the street light. It's pitch black except for my headlights. My tires squealed. I tore out of the parking lot so fast. I kept that box of matches for years to solidify in my mind that the experience actually happened. Every time I went back on that county road, I searched for that gas station and never saw it again. At this point, I'm not even 45 minutes away from the state line and an hour from my comfy bed. I'm freaked out and beyond exhausted. I had been up for 2 days and could go cross-eyed. I had been staring at the road for so long. I'm still on the same road, but I'm a long way from the gas station and I'm still trying to put it out of my mind. When all of a sudden, I see blue lights behind me. Now, my father was a police officer for 26 years. I remember the year police cars went from the old school rotation lights to the new LED bar lights. This hellacious road trip was probably around 2016, and behind me was the old school rotating lights. It was too dark to see what kind of car they sat on. I just saw blue. I luckily had a friend who was a sheriff deputy a couple cities over and caught him, knowing he worked night shifts and would still be awake. I asked him if he knew any departments that still use the old lights, and he told me no one in the entire state has them. He told me to keep driving until I saw a public spot, pull over. Absolutely not stop on the dark side of the road. I drove for a solid 30 minutes, keeping my friend on the phone with me, the blue lights trailing behind me the whole way. I finally hit the crossroad, where the county road meets the highway. I'm almost 20 minutes from my house. I pulled into a very well-lit gas station in an intersection, a gas station that I stop at almost daily on my way to work and felt very comfortable at. The blue lights behind me suddenly cut off, and the car sped off too fast for me to get to the license plate or a good description. I went inside the gas station, bought a Red Bull and a pack of smokes from the little lady at the gas station, whose familiar face and friendly smile felt like a warm welcome back to reality. I got home that morning and checked all my doors several times before falling asleep. Soon after I quit traveling with the car show. To this day, I hate driving by myself. I always bring a friend or my dog along road trips, and no matter what the GPS says, I stay on the highways and interstates. I have only told this story to 2 to 3 other people over the years in fear of them not believing me. I still swear I fell into a time warp or maybe the Twilight Zone. I'm now married to my police officer friend, and he very clearly remembers that night, as he was on the phone with me several times throughout the night. We only have talked about it once. Man, that sounds scary. I remember one time, it was really weird. I was coming back from Florida, Alabama, or whatever, and my GPS told me to take this county road late at night, and it was me and my son, and I felt very uncomfortable, and I was going down this road, no one was around, really, really creepy, and I could not wait to get off of it. And it was like a dumb road that I didn't even need to take. I could have just stayed on the highway. It was really weird, y'all. But yeah, that is crazy. I completely believe you, and you never know. You might have went through like a ghost town or something. That is crazy. All right, that is the end of the story for today. I love y'all very much. I will see you on the next one. But until then, remember, it's scary out there. Please like and subscribe.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross